if one of the biggest names in hip-hop wasn't just on trial, but claimed the entire case was built on lies. Sean Diddy Combs is fighting for more than just his reputation. He's fighting to throw the whole case out. After 3 explosive weeks in court, Diddy's legal team has dropped a bombshell. They're accusing the government of manipulating witnesses, allowing false testimony, and crossing legal lines to make him look guilty. And now, they want the entire trial scrapped. But what really happened the night Diddy allegedly threatened a woman in Cassie's apartment? Why are text messages and time-stamped photos suddenly under the microscope? And is this a desperate legal move, or proof that something darker is going on behind the scenes? Let's break it all down. The charges and the trial so far. 4 weeks now, Sean Diddy Combs has been sitting in a New York courtroom, facing some of the most serious accusations of his entire career. Charges that include by force and racketeering. He's pleaded not guilty, but the courtroom has been anything but calm. What started as a high-profile case has turned into a full-blown media storm, with Diddy's past, his relationships, and his inner circle dragged into the spotlight. And now, his legal team is making a second attempt to shut the entire trial down, claiming it's not just unfair, but illegally tainted. Their reasoning? Prosecutors, they say, are bending the truth. And one key moment may have changed everything: the mistrial motion bombshell. On June 7th, Diddy's legal team sent a fiery letter to Judge Arun Subramanian, demanding a mistrial. Their argument? That the government knowingly allowed false testimony to go unchallenged, and used it to paint Diddy as a violent, abusive figure. At the center of it all is an alleged incident from 2016, where Diddy supposedly threatened a woman named Bryana Bongolan at Cassie Ventura's apartment. The testimony claimed Diddy was enraged and even intimidating. But Diddy's team says that story is a lie. They claim prosecutors allowed the court to hear details they knew were false, and that the incident never even happened the way it was described. According to the defense, this wasn't just a mistake. It was deliberate misconduct designed to sway the jury. And the most damning part? They say this story was so emotionally charged, it could have completely changed how the jury sees Diddy. One of the most disturbing claims in the trial came from Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura. On the stand, she said she personally saw Diddy hanging Bryana Bongolan off a balcony, an image that, if true, paints a terrifying picture. But Diddy's lawyers aren't just pushing back, they're calling it flat-out false. They've submitted text messages that, according to them, prove Cassie only learned about the incident after it allegedly happened. Not firsthand, not in real time, and certainly not with her own eyes. Their argument? If she wasn't there and only heard about it later, then her testimony isn't just misleading, it's completely unreliable. They claim this one story has been used to make Diddy look like a violent, unstable threat to everyone around him. And they're accusing the prosecution of using it for maximum emotional impact, not factual accuracy. The timeline doesn't add up. It's not just witness testimony that's under fire. Now, even the evidence is being called into question. Photos of Bryana's alleged injuries were presented in court, supposedly taken in Los Angeles on September 26, 2016. These images were meant to support the story of Diddy's violent outburst. But Diddy's defense team dropped a key detail. He wasn't even in LA at the time. According to travel records, Diddy was in New York City from September 24th to 29th. So, if he wasn't there, how could he have caused those injuries? His lawyers say this proves the timeline is off and possibly fabricated. They argue that this evidence is misleading at best and, at worst, deliberately used to frame him. And, if they're right, it could unravel a major part of the case. But the balcony story isn't the only moment Diddy's lawyers are calling out. They say the prosecution has crossed the line before. Back in May, the court heard testimony from Lance Jimenez, an arson investigator with the Los Angeles Fire Department. Prosecutors grilled him about fingerprint evidence tied to the bombing of Kid Cudi's car, an incident long rumored to be connected to Diddy. But here's the twist. The defense says the questions were designed to suggest something darker, that Diddy used his power or money to cover up the evidence. In other words, that he was capable of bribery and manipulation. Diddy's legal team called it character assassination, not a search for truth. They demanded a mistrial then. too, but the judge denied it, saying it didn't bias the case enough to warrant throwing it out. Now, they're bringing that moment back, adding it to a pattern of what they claim is clear, deliberate misconduct. With emotions running high and both sides digging in, the trial is far from over. Court is set to resume Monday, and Cassie, Diddy's ex and a key witness, will continue her testimony. Her words could either reinforce the prosecution's case or fall apart under cross-examination, especially with Diddy's team attacking her credibility. Meanwhile, the judge now has to weigh a serious accusation. Did the prosecution bend the rules so far that the trial itself can't be trusted? Diddy's legal team says yes, and they're not backing down. But prosecutors are standing by their case, insisting the jury has a right to hear the full story. With every passing day, the stakes grow higher. This isn't just about Diddy's freedom anymore. It's about whether the entire justice process has been compromised, a trial on the edge. Sean Diddy Combs' trial is now more than a legal battle. It's a high-stakes drama filled with accusations, denials, and explosive claims on both sides. With mistrial motions flying and key witnesses under fire, the courtroom has become a battleground for truth, power, and reputation. Is Diddy a victim of prosecutorial overreach and false testimony? Or is this a carefully constructed case slowly unraveling the truth? As the trial continues, one thing is clear. The final verdict could change everything, not just for Diddy, but for how justice is served in high-profile cases like this. What do you think? Is this trial on shaky ground, or is the truth finally catching up with the music mogul? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.